This video response is going to go out to Adam Conover, and that's because you have a television series on True TV entitled Adam Ruins Everything. And the first thing I would like to say is, I thoroughly enjoy your television show. I really do. And I really like the facts that you present on this television show. So I love that show. I really do. However, it's the facts that you leave out of your show that I don't enjoy very much. You say, what facts do I leave out? Well, I'm going to show you that. Now, I have already emailed you about something, and this concerns marijuana. And what you say in your show, and I quote, "For most people, weed is essentially harmless." I am quoting you from your show. That's not entirely true. I did a 15-part series, a 15-part video series on the Minnesota Marijuana Research Study. I'm going to leave a hyperlink to that down here in the description below. I also did a video entitled My Further Response to Marijuana. I'm going to leave a hyperlink to that in the description below. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to leave a link to both of those in the description below. You can check that out for yourself. So it is not entirely true when you say that for most people, weed is essentially harmless. That's not entirely true, and you can go check that out for yourself. Okay. Now, in another episode, you covered immigration. And what you said essentially is, well, they just fly over the border. That's not entirely true either, is it? No, because some of them actually tunnel underneath the border. If you don't believe me, I have left a hyperlink down here in the description below, and you can see that for yourself. So they do tunnel underneath the border just as much as they fly over it. So, now then, it was Dr. Joseph Lawrence who invented Listerine. Okay? He named it after Joseph Lister. Let me say that again. He named it after Joseph Lister. If you don't believe me, I'm going to have some hyperlinks again down here in the description below, and you can see this for yourself. Now, what's really important here is that Joseph Lister believed in surgical antiseptic. As a matter of fact, he was giving a lecture on this when the Johnson brothers showed up, heard his lecture, and worked with him and actually formed the Johnson & Johnson Company. We all know who Johnson & Johnson is. Okay? Now then, what's really important here is that Listerine was originally marketed as, not as a floor cleaner, but as a surgical antiseptic. When sales didn't go up, then they marketed it as a floor cleaner, and, well, you showed the rest of it on your show. Okay? But I am serious with you. It was first marketed as a surgical antiseptic. If you don't believe me, you can check out the hyperlinks down here in the description below. So that's not entirely true either, is it? Absolutely not. Now then, you also did an episode on the Wild West, and most of what you said was essentially true. It is true that many western towns checked the weapons, and it was lawmen that controlled the towns. That's true. However, what you are implying is that they never had a Wild West shootout in a Wild West town, and that is not true. You might want to send that memo to Wild Bill Hickok, and yes, I am related to him. You might also want to send that memo to Wyatt Earp, and to Billy the Kid, and to several others. And if you don't believe that there was actually Wild West shootouts, they didn't happen very often, because most of the time the weapons were checked. But that wasn't always the case. And even when they had a policy of checking weapons, not always were all the weapons checked. That's not true either, Because if that were true, then none of these Wild West shootouts would have ever happened. It just wouldn't happen that way. You don't believe me? Well, I got hyperlinks down here below. I got a hyperlink that will show you 10, count them 10 Wild West shootouts that actually occurred in Wild West towns. So that's not entirely true either, is it? Okay. But it goes on here. Now, I have 2 stories to tell you. One is about Juan Vidal. He was 25 years old in Irwindale, California. He was working at a Subway, and that was back in October 2016. And something rather unfortunate happened to that kid. If you don't believe me, you can take a look at the hyperlinks down below and you'll find his story. I also want to present the story of Caleb Whitty. This was back in 2011. He took his sister to the Decatur celebration. He was 17, she was 14. Okay? When they left the celebration, they were confronted by hooligans. And what happened to them is in the story, which you'll find a hyperlink down to in the description below. I keep saying that over and over. Go down to the hyperlinks in the description below and you'll see these little stories. Now, what is the big deal about Caleb Whitty and Juan Vidal? And that's Juan Manuel Vidal, if you want to know the truth. What's the significance of both of these? Because of 2 episodes that you placed on your television show. One was about giving, the other was about, well, what you considered, quote, bad bosses. Okay? The fact of the matter is, you don't let people know what kind of money you have. Because whether you actually have that money or people just think you have that money, they're going to try to get it from you. And if those 2 stories don't prove that to you, nothing else will. There are better ways to solve problems like that. You don't just suddenly give a whole bunch of money to charities because you're just painting a target on their backs. And that's not something you want to do. And you certainly don't discuss salaries at your workplace. It's just not to be done. And those are the reasons why. You say, well, what's the better solution? The better solution is that everyone needs a better education. And where do they find that better education? Well, they can find it from a lot of other channels, but it might take them a long time to find that kind of stuff. But if they come to my channel, they'll find it here. It'll be a lot more convenient for them. So if you're looking for a pretty dang decent education, you come to my channel and you'll find it. So, like I said, I don't really have a problem with your television show. However, I do have a problem with the research team that's not digging up all the facts. Now, like I said, I'm going to put hyperlinks to everything down here in the description below, and you can see this stuff for yourself. So, quit leaving out information on your television show. It's not a good thing to do. It's not nice. Research more carefully. Shoot, I'm one person. I did better research than your entire research team, as far as I'm concerned. So, hopefully you'll do better research. If you need to, you can contact me and I'll find better information than what you presented. But your show is just not well researched. And I think I have proven that rather conclusively. So, try again. Alright. Hopefully you'll fix your research team and you'll fix all these episodes. And you'll present all this new information. I encourage you to do so. Anyway, I will tell you more in a future video, so I would like for you to stay tuned.